Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel yet again with another video to help you with your German driving license theory exam journey. So far I have covered 6 lessons spread across 18 videos to aid your German driving license exam preparation. I have created a playlist for your easy reference. Please watch them and I'm sure this is going to help your exam preparation. And thanks for your support and feedback so far. It really provides me motivation to create more such content. Recently, one of our subscriber friend recommended to add more contents which probably was not yet covered so far with my lessons. So this is continuation to our theory lesson series. So this is lesson 7 part A, where we look at electronic aids or different driver assistance systems, and in the subsequent parts we'll also try to cover all the questions which are relevant for this portion. So please stay subscribed to receive more such contents to help with your preparation. Let's start the lessons.
Alright then, let's get started with lesson 7 part A, where we will look at driver assistance systems or the so-called electronic aids. In your exam question pack, you have a total of 41 questions which is related to electronic aids. I hope this lesson is going to be helpful for you with that. So let's get started. Driver assistance systems. What is important, how it can be helpful. This definitely enhances the safety. It helps prevent accidents or mitigate the risks for the driver by giving different warnings or signals in different driving scenarios. It definitely improves driving performance by offering different features like adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, lane change assist, automated parking, and so on. But what is important to note and where you should be careful while using it is that you should not have false expectations. So this is not completely going to replace the driver, and hence you should be attentive most of the time. Neglecting personal responsibility is important. So this system should be more used as an additional aid, but not that it completely would replace your alertness. Over reliance on traffic monitoring. This could also be an issue that you pay too little attention to the traffic control. So be very sure while using these systems and don't forget your individual responsibility. Alright, then now let's look into different types of these systems which are specifically relevant for your exam. First is cruise control. So in your exam pack, you will be sometimes checked with cruise control or sometimes it's adaptive cruise control. So just be prepared with what is in your question. So this is cruise control, and cruise control helps maintain a constant speed. So this helps reduce driver fatigue on long journeys. So if you are in a motorway or an autobahn, you see that road is quite empty and you just want to take your legs off your accelerator, you can input a speed and the cruise control will cruise in that particular speed. But this only maintains a constant speed. That's important. So if there is a car ahead of you, you should apply the brakes yourself. So this is not adaptive cruise control, but this is just a cruise control. So please take a note of these difference. As usual, I will mark in the slides some text in yellow. This is relevant for your exam. So just remember these additional notes as well while you go through these lessons. So here the additional note is this helps to maintain an energy saving driving style. Of course, because you're not accelerating or applying the brakes constantly, you're going at a constant cruise, or you're cruising at a constant speed, and it helps to maintain an energy saving driving style. But it's important that you should be careful while using it. Like I've said, this is not going to replace the driver. Be cautious when using these cruise control in adverse weather conditions or heavy traffic. So it's not recommended to use them. And also note that when you switch off switch off the cruise control too late, it might result in a speed exceeding the permissible speed limit. So you should look around for signals, for speed limit signs, etc., and switching it off too late might result in you exceeding the speed limits. This might result in tailgating, which means you will go very close to the car ahead of you, and this might also result in excessive cornering speed, because this cruise control is going at a constant speed irrespective of whether you're taking a corner. So please be aware of all these factors. So now let's look at adaptive cruise control. We already mentioned that there is cruise control and there is adaptive cruise control. The difference here with ACC, the adaptive cruise control, is that the vehicle automatically adjusts the speed to maintain a safe distance from the vehicle ahead. Okay, so that's the difference. The cruise control maintains a constant speed, whereas this maintains a safe distance from a vehicle ahead as well. So it automatically adjusts the vehicle speed as well. Note that accelerator or brake pedal can override the system as well. However, it is important to be careful while using it. Ensure that the system is calibrated according to the changing traffic conditions. And yes, always the driver should remain attentive and ready to intervene if necessary. Another note, the system will also be affected by heavy rain and snowfall. Important is that adaptive cruise control or many other systems depends on the lane markings and road conditions, and if the road conditions are impacted because of a construction or bad weather, be ready to take the control over. Let's move to the next one. The next one is lane change assist, and please note in your exam pack you might have questions for lane change assist with steering override or without steering override. Just take a note of this because these are slightly different in terms of how they operate, and as the name conveys, if you have a lane change assist with steering override, it also helps you with the steering function, and without steering override it doesn't help you with the steering function. That's it. So how can it be helpful? It alerts driver to vehicles to their blind spots. So especially when you're trying to change your lane, and if there is a vehicle in your blind spot or in not so safe zone, then it alerts you. And and take a note that this is always useful in motorways or motor like roads, so especially autobahns where lane markings are very clear. How to be careful using this? Like I've said before, please don't completely rely on these alerts only. It's important that the driver should also check the blind spot visually yourself or with the help of mirrors before changing lanes. And also please take a note that these will not look for oncoming traffics. These kind of systems, they solely rely on lane markings on the road. They also check the blind spots, only the blind spots and not the oncoming traffics. Be careful with that. Let's move on to the next one, and this is lane departure warning system. And as the name suggests, these systems alerts drivers when vehicles unintentionally drifts out of its lane. Okay, as you could see in the picture here. So this gives you an alert. And how to be careful? Use this only as a supplementary tool, and you should not completely rely on the system. It may not detect lane markings in all conditions. For example, a dirty road surface or absence of a road marking itself, it will not work effectively. And note that it does not rely on guardrails on the road, and you see these guardrails in this picture. So these systems, like I've said before, mostly rely on lane markings on the road and not these guardrails that you see on the leftmost edge of the road. All right, so let's move on to the next one, and this is called as lane keep assist. Okay, and you would also have sometimes questions for lane assist with corrective steer control, and as the name signifies, it also controls the steering. How it can be as helpful? This actively steers the vehicle to keep it within the lane marking. It warns you when you get close to the road markings. Okay, and when to be careful using it, yes, be cautious of over reliance on the system. It may not functionally in poorly marked roads, as we said before, or bad weather conditions, or inadequate road illumination, or heavy precipitation on the road. So these conditions are important. Lane keep assist systems, for example, with corrective control, if it has corrective control, then it also steers the vehicle so that the vehicle is kept within the lane. But yeah, keep a note of all of this what we just discussed. All right, then let's move on. The next system is called the e-call system. And when can it be helpful? It automatically contacts the emergency services in the event of a crash. So it's reducing the response time. It also tracks the position of the motor vehicle. It also tracks the time of the accident. Okay, how to be careful using it? Ensure the system is activated and configured. False alarms can occur, so drivers should be prepared to cancel calls if an emergency exists. Okay, so that's quite straightforward. Let's move on to the next one, and this is ABS, anti-lock braking system. And I'm sure most of you would have heard about this in our driving context. How it can be helpful: it prevents wheel locking up during the braking. It maintains the steer control and reduces stopping distances. And how to be careful using it? Avoid pumping the brakes manually, as ABS functions automatically. However, maintain awareness of the road conditions and adjust braking accordingly. Okay, let's look at the next one. And yeah, some of these are marked in yellow because these are exam relevant. The next one is anti-slip device. So please note that ABS and anti-slip don't get confused. One is anti-lock braking system and the other one is anti-slip device. So how it can be helpful? It helps manage the wheel spin, especially during the initial takeoff, the initial set off. It prevents the wheel spin. It reduces the danger of sliding sideways on slippery roads. These are the two most important aspects. And how to be carefully monitor the behavior of the vehicle, and aggressive use of the system may lead to loss of control in certain situations. Active park assist. Yeah, I think as the name signifies, it can be helpful to guide the vehicle into parking spaces, reducing driver stress and improve the accuracy. But it should be careful while using it. Ensure that system is calibrated and configured. Driver should always monitor the surrounding to be ready to intervene if necessary. And you should still pay attention. And it might not detect all the obstacles. So please actively look at all of these yourself as well. Autonomous emergency brake. Again, these are some systems referred in your questions. So autonomous emergency brake, as the name signifies, applies the brake automatically to prevent or mitigate a collision with a vehicle or an obstacle. And you should be careful, be aware of system limitations. It might not detect everything. It might be impacted by weather conditions. It might not detect all stationary objects and so on. Okay, so drivers should always be vigilant in such cases. Alright, then let's move to the next one. This is called brake assist system. The reference to these systems are also there in some of the questions. It enhances the braking performance during emergency situation. And yes, you should be careful. Like we have discussed in the past, it is not replacing the need for you to brake, but yeah, it will just assist you while applying the brakes. The next one is electronic stability control. So I think there is one or two questions with respect to electronic stability control. It helps maintain the vehicle stability and control during sudden man over or loss of traction. Okay, that is this system about. And be mindful of the system's operation and effectiveness, especially in challenging road conditions. Driver should not exceed the system's capability and should adjust driving behavior accordingly.
So thank you so much for watching this video so far. This was lesson 7 part A. In the subsequent parts, let's cover all the questions that are relevant for this portion. So please stay tuned, stay subscribed, and thank you once again for all your support.